What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. It's a beautiful day. Sun is just booming today. I'm loving it. Too bad we can't really go nowhere yet, but that's all right. Um, Getting into this episode of Days of Our Lives. OMG. Ben and Ciara, listen. I'm all for them getting married eventually. I just feel like now is not the right time. Now is not the right time for them to be getting married. I mean, they got that struggle love type of love, I guess, you know. I like the proposal. I liked it. You know, it was simple. In the park, Chinese food, just the two of them. I liked it. It was cute. Here's my problem. The engagement ring that he gave her was a washer because obviously he can't afford an engagement ring. And she was all happy with it. She was like, oh, look at my ring. Look at Ciara, no. No. Do better. Like, I guess it's the thought. I guess it's the thought that counts, I suppose. But yeah, no. Then she's sitting there talking about, oh, I'm gonna start planning the wedding. Ciara, y'all don't have no money. What wedding are you planning? What wedding are you planning with no money? Like, how do you plan a wedding when you broke? I don't get it. He didn't even have enough money to buy you a damn ring. What makes you think y'all got wedding money? Like, what you gonna do? Go to Hope? Who you gonna go to? You gonna go to family for the money? Like, how y'all get married? How you? I mean, if you plan a wedding, you ain't got much to plan with no money. I'm just putting it out there. I mean, you know, I'm happy for them and whatnot, but I just think it's too soon. You know, not too soon as far as in love because they have been dating for a while. But they just, I mean, y'all just are in no financial position. Like, he can't afford to buy you a ring. Y'all don't have a house or an apartment. Y'all living out of the Salem Inn. Don't have the money for a proper wedding, for a wedding period. Probably unless you go down to the Justice of the Peace, I guess. But y'all just got life all just messed up right now. Like, wait until y'all more financially stable. You know, get an apartment. Do that first. You know what I'm saying? Step by step and then get married. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm just saying that's just something I would do, but they're not me, so I guess. And I mean, then again, she is a trust fund baby, so eventually she will get access to her trust fund. But, you know, I don't feel bad for them because, she, like I said, she's a trust fund kid. So eventually she's going to get money. She comes from money. You know, her mom has money. Her dad's side of the family got money. The Kiddiakises. So, I mean, overall, Hope Ciara is going to be good overall. I cannot wait to see Hope's reaction to this and see what she's going to say because I'm curious about that. Like, is she going to be cool with it? Is she going to, you know, pop off, like, and be upset? I'm curious to see, like, what they're going to do. But other than that, I'm happy for them. I just wish that they would have done it under better circumstances. You know, better financial terms. But I guess, you know, congrats to them. So anyway, moving on from that. It's the 1-year anniversary of Adrian's death, and everybody's visiting her grave, mainly, you know, Justin and Steve. So Justin went to go see Adrian or whatever, you know. He's still broken up over her death, you know, still choked up. I mean, it's only been a year, you know what I mean? So, of course, you know, I don't care how many years go by. Justin is always going to be choked up about Adrian's death because that was the love of his life. So those feelings are never going to go away. And when Kayla came to see him because she knew he would go to the gravesite, she came there to admit to him that it did bother her that Steve and Hope were living together. She admitted that to him. Like I said, she was obviously at that time, she was afraid to admit it to herself and to him. She was in complete denial about it. But she finally, you know, opened up about it. But it made Justin realize that, you know, he felt like he was being a hypocrite to her. That he was, you know, a little harsh with her about her feelings for Steve when he still has those same feelings for Adrian. So he felt like he was being a hypocrite. My thing is, I understand that, but there's a big difference between his love for Adrian and Kayla's love for Justin. One, Adrian's dead. She's not coming back. He can never go back to her. Steve is alive and well and back in Salem. There's a difference. Kayla can always dump him and go back to Steve whenever she feels good and ready to. There's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, Justin's, attitude, his little attitudes, they're a little justified in a way because he can never go back to Adrian. But she damn sure can go back to Steve. Kayla can go back to Steve if she wanted. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference in that. But I totally understand where you're coming from, and I understand where she's coming from. Like, her love for Steve is definitely not going away, but she feels like, you know what? It is time for her to move on. It's time for her to let go of the past with Steve and move forward with Justin. The question is, how long is this supposed to last? Because I just feel like it won't last too much longer. So, anyway. Of course, while they talking, Steve and Hope show up because Hope is sending the text to Sierra at home or whatever, letting her know that they need to meet up and blah, blah, blah. And she basically told Steve that he should wait until morning to go see Adrian. But he was like, you know what? I'm a year too late. I need to go see her now. So when they got there, of course, Justin and Kayla were there. And I like that, they were adults enough to exchange pleasantries and not attitude. Because, it wasn't the time or the place. Justin and Steve were very civil, very nice to each other. And I liked it because I felt like that's how adults are supposed to handle it. You know what I mean? So when they left or whatever, Steve got a moment to talk to Adrian's grave, and he was just broken up over it because he felt like he wasn't a good brother to her. Him being gone constantly, and then he was gone during the time of her death, and he felt like had he been there, he could have maybe helped prevent it or helped her, and now he felt like it's too late. In my opinion, Steve cannot blame himself for Adrian's death. That was not his fault. Even if he was in town, I don't believe he could have stopped it. He couldn't have prevented that. Nobody can prevent things from happening, certain accidents from happening. That's why they're called accidents. And it wasn't his fault that he was gone. It wasn't your fault that you were gone. You were gone. You were captured by Stefano's goons or whatever, Dr. Rolf, whoever. You were captured. It's not your fault. You can't blame yourself for what happened. You had no control over it. He just needs to let that guilt go. And it was sad to see him break down, though. And, it was good that Hope was there being a friend, hugging him and stuff, being a comfort to him. So anyway, Justin and Kayla ended up going to the pub, to toast Adrian and stuff like that. And, of course, Steve and Hope showed up at the pub. And Justin seemed at first like he was a little annoyed that he was seeing, Steve again after, they just bumped into each other at the graveyard. But I'm like, y'all all are living in the same town. It's a small town. You're going to see each other. You're going to bump into each other. But I like the way, they handled it like adults. Steve was willing to leave. Him and Hope just came there for a drink and to toast Adrian. He was willing to leave, but Justin said, no, I'm going to be an adult. I'm going to be the big man about it. I'm going to be the bigger person. Come over. Y'all can join us for a toast to, Adrian, because they all loved Adrian. So why not toast together and raise a glass together? I love that because that just showed the maturity level and showed that, because had this been a younger group or anybody else, I feel like it would have been very immature. It would have been childish. But I love how they showed people like we're grown, we're adults. Let's handle this like grown people. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't need to be awkward. We can all be cordial. We can all get along and toast somebody that we love, that we had a mutual love and respect for, that's no longer with us. I love the way that they handled that. That was beautiful. I loved it. They handled it perfectly. So anyway, moving on from that. The whole fiasco that's going on in Paris. So Rex was still at the apartment or whatever. Brady and Xander showed up at the apartment looking for Sarah and Kristen. But Rex pretty much gave him a list of train stations that Kristen was supposed to look for Sarah at. So Kristen runs into Sarah at the train station, and Sarah is downright refusing to give baby Rachel to Kristen. I freaking loved and was shocked, by the way, at the way that Kristen handled the situation. Kristen handled the situation like a pro, like a real negotiator. Like, you know, she handled it like a pro. You know what I mean? She handled it better than I thought she would, because I thought she, you know, was going to have a mental breakdown. She was going to snap. She was going to do something crazy. But she held her composure and she handled it. And I freaking loved it. I loved it. She basically thanked Sarah for all the times that Sarah's been there for her daughter and, you know, held her when Kristen couldn't, you know, because in my opinion, it's not none of their faults as to what happened. This is basically all on Victor and Xander, because they were the ones who came up with the idea to switch the babies. So it's not either one of their faults as to what happened. You know, they both grieved. They both went through it. You know what I mean? It's not their fault. So it was good that Sarah decided, you know what, to give the baby back and stuff like that. And when Brady and Xander showed up, she just ran off or whatever. And Sarah went back to the apartment. And it was good that Rex was there for her to be a comfort, because he knew that, you know, when he knew she was going to do the right thing, he knew she was going to get the baby back. And he was like, you know, I knew you were going to need a friend. So I decided to stick around and be that friend for you, to listen to you. And she was happy about that, even though after what she did to him. But of course, Xander showed back up at the apartment, and she wanted nothing to do with Xander. She basically blames Xander for all of this. She doesn't want to see him no more. She don't want to talk to him, don't want to nothing, which I'm not surprised. But my thing is, Sarah needs to stop acting like she's such a do-gooder, because you've done your fair share of dirt. And yeah, Xander was wrong for what he did, but you were wrong for stuff that you've done too. So you can't really go off on him without looking like a little hypocrite yourself, because you've done awful things yourself. He's done awful things. You've done some bad shit too. So don't sit there and try to act like a martyr. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that, because you know, shouldn't have done it. But anyway, moving on from that. Brady and Kristen are gushing over their baby and stuff like that. He's talking about, oh, we could get a hotel room, then we could go back to Salem tomorrow. She was like, dum-dum, we can't go back to Salem tomorrow. Kristen can't go back. She's a fugitive now. You know, Victor ID'd her as his attacker. So she goes, the second she sets foot in Salem, she's going to be arrested. Brady basically was like, well, we got the tickets, we got the stroller, let's go on a run, basically. Let's just get out of here. We don't have to go back to Salem. I was like, what? Brady continues to be dumb. Kristen was like, we can't do that, because if we leave town, then that means you can never go back to Salem. You can't never see Tate again, because now you'll be wanted too for aiding and abetting a fugitive. He didn't care. Brady did not care. He still wanted to go. I said, Brady, really? You're not even going to think about your son, who you may never see again, because you will now be officially a fugitive? And it's kind of ironic that a psychopath like Kristen was the voice of reason on this episode today. Not only with Sarah, but now she got to be the voice of reason for Brady. And kept telling him all that he stand to lose if he goes on a run with her. And, you know, one of his options was they can go back to Salem. They could fight it. They could try and get Victor to change his mind. I'm like, you're not going to get Victor to change his mind. That's just not going to happen. Victor has to want to change his mind, because there's no way Brady's going to talk Victor into doing it. There's no way. So Victor has to want to do it on his own. And we all know Victor is stubborn as hell, and he doesn't like Kristen. So chances are he wouldn't do it. But it pisses me off that Brady wouldn't care enough about his son that you would go on a run with Kristen and baby Rachel. And it kind of seems like you're picking one family over the other. Like you're picking your new daughter, your new child over your existing child. That's kind of how it would look. You know what I mean? Because you got two kids that you need to think about. And it's kind of a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. So basically, Kristen's going to go on a run. But Kristen was like, no, I'd rather go back to Salem and turn myself in and let you raise the baby. Because she was like, if both of them go on a run, chances are they're both going to get caught. And now their daughter is going to have no parents. So they couldn't risk that. So Brady was just like, no, you're going to take our daughter. You're going to go on a run. And, you know, Kristen told him that she's basically going to tell baby Rachel all about him and stuff like that. So, you know, Brady, of course, was heartbroken by it. I'm like, well, it is what it is. You know, Kristen should have thought about that before she stabbed Victor. You know what I mean? You would easily be able to live in Salem if you didn't go off half-cocked stabbing people. That's why Kristen needs to think before she acts. This is what happens when you do dirt. You don't think. So anyway, that was pretty much the whole episode. I enjoyed it. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. And I will see you all later. Have a great day. Peace.